Why is the Bible sometimes so difficult to understand? Here's the reason why. It's because it is eternally relevant. In other words, it's meaningful at all times and places. Yet the books of the Bible were written in very specific circumstances and situations. So here's an example. Paul says in the letter to the church in Philippi, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, is Paul saying that he can go to the moon because of Christ who gives him strength? Is he saying that he can become a superstar athlete? Well, in order to understand what Paul is saying here, we need to get back to that specific situation. And we look at the letter and we see that Paul is saying that he has learned to be content in all situations. Now, it also helps us to know that Paul is writing this letter from prison. And so what Paul is saying is that he has learned to be content when he has food on his plate, when he's in a comfortable situation. But he's also learned to be content when he's in prison, or when he doesn't know when his next meal is going to come, or if he's in a shipwreck, which Paul endured. And so what helps us understand how this is meaningful for us today is to understand the context that Paul is writing from. So if we are going to say that we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength, it helps to also understand, well, are we able to be satisfied in all our situations? Well, I think we can because of Christ who gives us strength. And that's what Paul is getting at. And that's how this particular passage can be meaningful and relevant for us today. And so to get back to our original question, why is the Bible sometimes so difficult? It's because we don't understand that first original context. And so that's where, when we're studying the Bible, it is so important to ask the question, what is the point? What is the author trying to communicate in the original circumstance and the original context? And once we understand what the author is trying to convey in that original context, then we will be able to better understand how this is relevant for us today.